Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to show you how to descale the K Supreme Plus with white vinegar. I just did a video on how to descale it with the Keurig descaling solution. This is $6, this is $1.50. They both act a little different. This one is tasteless and odorless. This one does have a pretty strong odor to it. But in this video I'm going to show you how to do it with white vinegar. So the K Supreme Plus, after 250 brews, you will get a descale light on in your display. The only way to get that light to go out, you do have to run the descaling procedure that I'm going to show you. This machine has a descaling mode. Now the instructions that come with it are not very, they don't show it. You have to go online and look at the Keurig website to find how to put this in descaling mode. That's the only way to get the descale light to go out. Now it is important to keep up on descaling every 3 months. So inside your machine, you've got a heater and a water pump, and you might get mineral buildup inside on those. And the descaling helps clean the inside of your machine. So if your coffee is not tasting as good, if it's not as hot, or if your machine is starting to sound a little loud, those are all signs that it's time to descale. And also if your descale light comes on. So even if your descale light does not come on, it's still a good idea to descale this after 3 months of use. I wouldn't go any more than 4 or 5 months. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure no K-cup. This is going to be empty for the entire process. Make sure you have this needle basket in. And again, we're going to leave this closed the entire process empty. And once we put this in descaling mode, you're going to leave it in descaling mode. Don't lift the handle. Don't hit the power button. Don't do anything to the machine. Just let the machine run through. You're going to be emptying this and filling this. So do what I show you, and at the end, your descale light will go off and you'll be out of descaling mode. So the next thing we're going to do is we got our water reservoir. I'm going to go empty this water and take out your carbon filter if you've got it. You're going to leave it out for the entire duration of this process. At the end, you'll put it back in. It's also a good time to change that carbon filter. The next thing you're going to need kind of a container to catch, because every time you run water through this, it's 12 ounces. So you got to have something to hold at least 12 ounces. So now we're going to get, so the white vinegar, it's a distilled white vinegar. Again, I can buy this whole jug for $1.50 at Walmart, but it kind of smells. So we're going to take our measuring cup, put about 2 cups or almost 16 ounces. So this is pure vinegar. I've got this in here. And you're just going to dump this in the reservoir. Again, my water reservoir is empty. You're just going to dump the pure vinegar in here. Now take the same measuring cup. So whatever amount of vinegar you put in, put the same amount of water. I'm going to fill this up to the 16 ounce or 2 cups of water. Okay, so there I've got my fresh water. This is all the liquid we're going to have in there so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. We're not going to put any more water or any more descaling solution. We're going to put the lid on. Going to put our container down here. Okay, now we're ready to you're going to have to give yourself about a half hour to do this start to finish. And again, you can't interrupt it in the middle. And you do have to kind of babysit it because you're going to be constantly emptying this. So it's a little counterintuitive, but you're going to turn the machine off, okay? It's plugged in, leave it plugged in, but it's off. The display's off, no lights are lit. You're going to hold the 8 ounce button and the 12 ounce button. You're going to hold these down at the same time for 3 seconds, okay? The big K light came on and the descale light came on. That means we're in descale mode. Now it's flashing. That means I'm going to press it. Once I press it, it's going to start running. And the display also changes to descaling. Now it's not flashing in real life. It's steady. But you'll see 3 little dots going across letting you know that it's descaling. So what it's doing right now, it's going to run 12 ounces of the descaling solution in the vinegar through the machine to help clean it. Be careful, the water is hot. And it will only run 12 ounces. So once it gets to the 12 ounce mark, it stops. I got to go empty it. Then I got to press the K button again. And we're going to do that until the add water light comes on. Once the add water light comes on, again, don't touch anything. Just go rinse this out, fill it up with water, put it back on here. It'll still say descaling, and then we're going to keep pressing the K button. Then you'll be running a bunch of fresh water through the machine. So right now we're running the vinegar through. And it takes about 1.5 minutes to run this 12 ounces. Almost 2 minutes each time you want to run the 12 ounces through. Okay, so it's finishing up with the first batch of 12. It says descaling, and it says descale, and now that's flashing again. So I got to go empty that. Now I press the K button again, and it's going to run another 12 ounce of the vinegar and the water through the machine. And now it changed to descaling. And keep in mind, when you're doing this process, it does splatter all over. So you may want a little bigger container, but it does kind of splatter all over. Okay, so it's finishing up the second brew of 12 ounces of the vinegar. It says add water. So don't touch anything. Leave the machine how it is. I'm going to go empty this. I'm going to take the reservoir. I'm going to throw out this vinegar and water. And I'm going to wash this out with soap and water because I just want fresh water in here. And I'm going to fill it up to the max line. Okay, so the only thing I've done is I've cleaned this out with soap and water, and it's got fresh water in it now. I'm just going to press it. It still says add water. The add water light goes away and it changes back to descale. We're still in descale mode. So now I'm going to press the big K button. And now what it's going to do, it's going to run the fresh water through here at 12 ounces a time. And it's going to do 6 of these. And you have to do it all the way through in order to get that descale light off, because you want the descaling mode to finish. The descaling mode has to finish in order for that descale light to go off. So just keep emptying this and pressing the K button. Emptying it, pressing the K button. And once you get down to around here, after the 6th time, you'll see the machine will just turn off. That means you're out of descaling mode. So as it's running that water through, it says descaling. So this is the end of the second cup that I've done. It says descaling, and then it says descale. So as long as it says descale, you got to keep hitting that K button, running water through it. Okay, so I hit the K button again. It changes to descaling, and it's running. This is my 3rd cup it's going to run through. And your water's coming down in the reservoir. What it's doing, it's flushing out that vinegar inside the machine. Okay, so it's finishing up the 3rd cup. It says descaling. And it still says descale, so we got to keep hitting the K button. I empty that. Let's hit the K button. It changes to descaling, so it's continue to run that. Like I said, it takes 6 of these. They want you to run 6 of the freshwater rinses through here to get all that vinegar out. But we're in descaling mode. And this whole time, the only light that's on is the K button. The power light's not on. Don't touch anything. Okay, so that's my 4th cup. It says descaling and descale, so I got to do another one. Okay, so I hit the K button, I emptied that, it changed back to descaling. Okay, so at the end of the 5th one, sometimes it's the 6th one, even though I got quite a bit of solution in here, the display just goes dark and nothing's lit up. That means you're out of descaling mode. So when that happens, you're ready to use the machine. Now I can just turn the machine on. It says to add water. I've got to add water. And then I can just use the machine like normal. Put your carbon filter back in. Now, because I use the vinegar, I do like to do a couple more freshwater rinses. So I put some fresh water in the reservoir again. It's out of descaling mode. So your descale light should have went off, and you should just be acting like a normal machine now. If it doesn't go off, you are supposed to run it again. I would probably, if the vinegar didn't work, I would probably try to use the Keurig solution. You would have to do the whole process again. Go into descaling mode and give yourself plenty of time to do that. But since I use the vinegar, I do like to do just a couple. So leave the K-cup open. I like to do a couple 12-ounce rinses just to be on the safe side. I think the vinegar does linger in there just a little bit more. When I use the descaling solution, I don't need to do that, but with the vinegar, I do. And this just might be me. So thanks everybody for watching. I did a comparison video with this and the normal K Supreme. This is the K Supreme Plus. Check out that video. I've got videos on how to make an iced coffee, how to use the reusable K-Cup with this machine, also a detailed review, how to set the presets. These are really nice. So thanks everybody for watching, and if you could, please like and subscribe.